What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing something very simple. I'm just going to be switching the front tires with the rear tires because my camber wear is insane. I'll show you guys what I mean after I take off the tires, and then another thing I will be showing you guys is how to level your headlights so that you can make them even and you could adjust it up or down. One of my viewers was asking how to do this, so I thought, hey, there could be a lot more people that are asking this question. This can be used for most headlights, so it could be helpful for a lot of people. Let's go outside, switch the front tires with the rear tires, and I'll show you guys how the camber looks on each side, and then let's get on to the headlights. So let's go. To start this off, I'm going to be using a breaker bar, and connected to it is a 19mm socket, which is going to be used for the key for my Muteki lug nuts. Whenever you take off wheels, you always want to break the lug nuts before you lift the car up, because if you don't, the wheels will turn and you'll never end up getting the lug nuts off unless you have air tools. I still don't like raising the car up by the point that we're supposed to jack up, so I'm going to use the other point because it kind of lifts up my side skirts and I feel like it's going to damage it, so I'm going to go for the inner structure. Now to pull off the lug nuts with power tool. Makes life so much simpler. We have the two tires right beside each other, and I'll show you guys what I mean by the camber wear. So right here, if you look at this portion is completely worn down. It should have a little bit of meat right here, but I guess my camber or my toe is really off, so it's cutting away at the tire. It should look like this, even though there's a little bit of camber in the rear, but you guys can tell this meat, it goes all the way to the sidewall. This is completely touching the sidewall. So I'm going to have to replace this or flip it on the other side. But just to be safe, I'm probably going to put on new tires, even though I have a lot of life left, which sucks, but what can you do? So I'm gonna switch them for now, and then I'll show you guys the other side afterwards. Alright guys, it's actually the next day. Yesterday I found out a huge problem with one of the tires, and I think it might be a manufacturer's defect, but it looks like I'm going to have to change out the tires anyways, so I might get some used tires and rock them for a while until I can get a full set of 4. Some better quality tires, but I'll show you guys what I mean. Alright, so if you look closely, this tire should not look like this. This should be connected, this part with this part, and there's 2 of those huge gashes. On top of that, there's a couple of cuts like this. I don't know what these are, but it almost seems like I ran over some sort of huge cooking knife or something. So whenever you have a fixed up car, always make sure to check up on all your parts, because you don't know if this kind of thing will happen. I had no idea, because tire sits like this, and even if I check for the camber, all you have to do is put your hand into the wheel well and check like that, and there's no way that I would have figured this out. So always check your parts. When you're putting the lug nuts back in, make sure to go in a star pattern. It doesn't matter where you start, but make sure to go diagonally. So one right here, thread it in a couple threads, because you don't want to rip off all the threading. One right there. Then the opposite side. And after that, like that. And this is of course when you're tightening it. So I'm just showing you guys an example. Alright, and the reason why you don't want to tighten it like that is because it'll tighten to one side and you might end up having a wheel wobble. After you do this, it's always good to torque the lug nuts, and the torque spec for my car is 85 to 90, and I'm going to torque it at 90. You don't need a fancy torque wrench. I just bought this from Harbor Freight, and the way to use this is to tighten this knob until this notch. It has kind of a weird step looking notch, and I have to put it at 90. Okay, that's at 90, and then twist the bottom till it's tight. Now we're good. So every time I tighten it enough to 90 pounds, it's going to make a clicking sound. Alright, and the lug nuts are torqued to spec. Today seems like it's going to be a day where I'm just going to be answering a couple of the viewers' questions. So one of the viewers asked, what are the differences between the three modes, tarmac, gravel, and snow? I'm going to be reading this off the manual. So tarmac, normally use this control mode. Use this mode for paved roads. Gravel, use this control mode when driving on somewhat slippery road surfaces such as wet road surfaces and gravel roads. Snow, use this control mode when driving on slippery road surfaces such as snow-covered roads. So it usually pops up right there, but for some reason it's not working on my car even with the car on, so I can't really show you guys that. If you look further into the SAWC control mode, some of the notes that are included in the owner's manual is the control mode can be changed while the vehicle is moving. The selected control mode is stored in memory even if the engine is stopped. However, if a battery terminal is disconnected, the control mode stored in memory will be erased and the control mode will be reset to tarmac mode. Hopefully that answered your question. So on to the next one. The next one is how to adjust your headlight leveler. And to do that, you have to open up the hood. Now that you opened up your hood, you're going to need a very long screwdriver. It's going to be a Phillips head. And you see this little groove right here? This is where you're going to be sticking the long screwdriver into. So you stick it into there, and then you rotate it. So I'll turn on the headlights and show you guys how to do it. As you guys can see, it's not that great to do it in the daylight, but once I turn this, it will move. Probably can't really see the level it's moving at, but it is moving. Alright, I think that's about right. For some very odd reason, my driver's side headlight tends to droop down after a while. So every so often, I have to readjust the headlight. And I thought this would be a good opportunity to show you guys how to do it. And there was a viewer that wanted to know how to do it. So that's how you do it. That concludes this week's video. I hope it helped out you guys that were asking questions about it. And if you guys do have any further questions about the Evo, I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. But for now, don't forget to give me a like and a subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Later.